Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I thought we would do a little is it worth the money with some of these viral products that have been circulating that everyone's saying that you absolutely need, and I thought we would go step by step and see if they're really worth the money, or if I feel like you could get something just as good for maybe lower the price, or just something that's not sold out because everyone's talking about it. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to start off with this. These are the Glow Recipe Watermelon Niacinamide Dewdrops. Now these went viral kind of a while back and they were so hard to get your hands on, and I finally got my hands on them, you know, a couple months after that. And basically people are using this as a primer for their makeup, even though it is technically a skincare product, to make your face supple and hydrated and dewy. I am also going to mix in the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy Drops because these have been going viral. Usually people are mixing them in with their moisturizer. Like, these are impossible to find. People are selling the bottles for like upwards of $80 on eBay. I'll tell you right now, they're not worth $80. Absolutely not. But I'm going to mix these two together and we're going to apply. Now, I did have a full size of the Drunk Elephant drops a while ago and I used it. I liked mixing it in with my moisturizer and my sunscreen for the summer months because sometimes I don't tan my face and I like to wear a lot of SPF on my face, and I don't like putting self-tanner and stuff on it always because I feel like it breaks me out. So they are nice to kind of give you that tanned effect. Any kind of bronzing drop, any kind of luminous bronzer liquid cream, it's going to work the same as these. These claim to have like the anti-pollution. There could be some truth to it, but it's not going to add anything spectacular to your skincare or makeup routine. So I would say buy something else. I really like the Cali Ray bronzing drops, the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in the darker shade. I think really anything. I think the Fenty Ease Drop, like lit ease drops in the darker shade, the Rare Beauty highlighter in the darker shade, anything like that I think is going to give you a similar effect. These are nice. I liked them, but they're nothing worth scouring the internet and paying, you know, double, triple the price for. So they're good, but they're not anything extraordinary. As far as the dewdrops, I do think they're nice. I like them. They do give you kind of like a supple, dewy glow underneath your base, but I don't feel like it adds anything extra that another product that I have couldn't do, and I'm going to be talking about that. It's the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. This is a little baby size. I think if you have this, you don't need this. If you have this, I don't think you need this. They are different. They have different formulations, but if you're just looking for something that's going to have a nice like little stick, I would really go for more of the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. These are nice, but they're just an extra step. No, you don't need these. If you have a nice moisturizer, some serums, anything like that, you're going to basically be giving yourself a nice effect. If you want to buy them, I think they're great. I think they work as intended, but I don't think they're anything revolutionary. So if you can't get your hands on it, or if you find something cheaper, I would definitely recommend going that way. For foundation, I'm going to be going in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I have the shade 1.5. This foundation, every couple of months, kind of blows up. Different people discover it and they talk about how good it is. You know, I can remember years and years back people raving about this foundation, and I do think the foundation's nice. It gives a nice like medium to buildable, I would say, coverage. It's not going to be like paint where it's like your fullest coverage foundation, but it definitely does perfect the skin. To me, I really like it because it does look like skin on your face. It does give like a soft, I wouldn't say it's overly luminous. Like if you've been seeing the Giorgio, the Makeup by Mario foundation going around, this is definitely not going to be as luminous as that, where it's like super shiny. This, I think it's luminous in a way of like, it looks like your skin, it looks like you have a little bit of a healthy glow. I do really like this foundation. I think the hype is well deserved. But that being said, this is a very expensive foundation. I believe it's like $70, which I guess in today's time, that's really not that much because everything is rising, the cost of everything. Like I think the Makeup by Mario foundation was similarly priced, but I really like this one. It is super skin-like. It doesn't exaggerate texture. It does give a nice medium coverage. You could definitely build it up, and I think it just looks really good. I think this is a foundation that works for a lot of people. I would recommend maybe if you're interested trying the smaller size or a sample before you go ahead and splurge. Foundation in general is really expensive, so I feel like getting samples of everything before you try it is a good idea. I do really like this. I would recommend it to people. I have recommended it to people, but like I said, it is expensive, and this is not to say that you're not going to find anything like this for a lower price. That's just not true. But you can see that, like, really, I don't know, it just did a nice job at evening everything out, and it gave me kind of just like a my skin but better effect. Alright, next we're gonna go in with this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for a Superstar Youth Glow. This product, I'm sure everyone knows about this because you really can't watch someone get ready with me on TikTok or YouTube without them using this product. It is kind of a multi-use product. Some people use it as their complexion. I do want to just say this is not a foundation. I think a lot of people use it as one or use it as a complexion product and expect it to have coverage. It is not a foundation at all. That being said, it can be a nice, like, very, very minimal, if you wanted to call it a tinted luminizer. I think that would be a better word for it, just because it is just meant to have a little bit of a tint to it to match your skin tone and also really add luminosity and everything. I do think these are really nice. There have been a couple of dupes. There was the Maybelline, the one that looks like the instant age rewind. I think it's the 4-in-1 perfector. I have tried that one. The shade range is a little less inclusive than the Charlotte Tilbury, I would say. And then also the e.l.f., which I have not been able to get my hands on yet, but I think really any liquid luminizer would do. I think the difference in this is a little bit more of a thicker formula, which does have like a tiny bit of coverage when you put it on your skin. I think that's why a lot of people like it. It does give a really nice glow. I mean, you can see I just applied that in all the high points of my face, and it does give a nice glow. That being said, these are raved and raved about. You don't absolutely need them. I think they're a nice product. I think they are a product that feels a little bit more luxurious, but really any liquid luminizer would do the same. Unless you're trying to use it for evening out your skin tone a little bit, I do think these are nice because they have that little bit of tint and it can give the illusion of coverage. But like I said, there are dupes worth trying. Another thing I want to say is the packaging on this. I was really disappointed. When you first get it, it has obviously writing on it that says like Hollywood Flawless Filter. And that does rub off pretty fast. So I think with something like this, you definitely are paying for a little bit of the packaging. So I would just keep that in mind. However, this has lasted me a very, very long time. Sometimes I apply it all over my face. I like to also apply it under my eyes. I'll do that right now. Under my eyes, this is a trick Samantha Ravindall here on YouTube kind of taught me. And this is nice, especially if you deal with drier skin. I think applying this underneath your concealer really does give a more bright, not really bright, but more youthful appearance of under eyes. That being said, it is an extra product, so you are adding an extra layer, which could sometimes end up with like crepiness or a little bit of like a thicker texture under the eyes. But I think it's really nice. It did kind of, you know, it didn't cover my dark circles or anything like that, but it kind of made everything look a little bit more youthful. But like I said, I don't think these are the end-all be-all. I do really like them and I recommend these on my channel because for me, they're just a product that I've fallen in love with. But if they're hard to get for you or you don't feel like spending the money, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, your makeup's never going to look good at all. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is the Dior Backstage Concealer. I don't know if this is really going viral right now, but I don't think I really have any concealer that a lot of people have been talking about. This is a product that I will say, for me, concealer has always been tough to find a shade that works for me, to find a consistency that doesn't highlight my dryness because I am very dry, especially under my eyes. And I think this concealer is amazing. This is probably my holy grail concealer. It has this really nice, I talk about this like almost in every video now. The applicator, I don't know if you can see that, is like a little brush. So it's not a dome foot, it's not like the hard plasticky, it's like a little brush. And to me, I feel like that just really makes a difference. It's a lot more enjoyable to apply, and that might sound a little silly, but I think it does make a difference in how much I reach for it. This is a nice, again, I would say high medium to like a fuller medium to high. You could definitely build it up. I think it's really, really nice. You can see it looks really good under the eyes. It looks healthy. It doesn't look too dry and matte. I don't think it's going to give as much coverage as per se Shape Tape or anything like that. But if you are on the drier side and you want a concealer that looks perfected and gives you that, you know, flawless look, but also it doesn't dehydrate you under your eyes and it looks like skin, I would definitely recommend this. I think this is worth every bit of money that it cost, and this is just my holy grail. I'll probably never stop buying this. As long as they make it, I'm buying it, because this concealer, I don't even have to think about it anymore. Before, I would just be like, I don't really have a favorite concealer because everything just makes me look dry or it settles and creases. I don't feel like this does any of that. So I would recommend this. If you're going to spend your money on a high-end concealer, definitely try out the Dior Backstage. Alright, let's get into some contour. Okay, this is a very controversial product. These are the Hollywood contour wands from Charlotte Tilbury. I'll go ahead and say what people's qualms are with this product. One, that it is very messy, and I'll take my lid off. They are very messy. Once you squeeze it out, it's not really staying into that sponge. It can kind of spurt out and get on the packaging and make it really oily and gross. Another thing that people have issues with is that sometimes they feel like they're like full of air. I will say, if you look on the website or if you look on the outer packaging, it does give you a fluid ounces amount, and that is what they're giving you. I have never experienced running out of this quickly. I have two of them that, you know, one just came with a set and I haven't even opened the second one, and I've probably used it for the last year, maybe longer. And it's still going strong for me. I think maybe there could be a possible, you know, error in some of the, you know, inconsistencies in the amount, because I do see some people run out of it very fast, and I cannot speak to that, of course. And you know, of course, I'm going to believe someone when they say that. I do think these are a nice product. I don't think they deserve quite all the hate that they've been getting recently. A lot of people have been saying that this is just like a trash product. I really like this product. That being said, it does only come in 2 shades. It's not very inclusive. These shades, I think, do work for a lot of people, but definitely not for darker skin tones, which is unfortunate. And yeah, I think that you could definitely find a liquid bronzer that's more suited for your needs and, you know, what you like. But I really liked these. I don't necessarily think that if you're going to use liquid bronzer or cream bronzer, this is the only one you can have. This is definitely more of a contour product. It does have a cooler shade. I see a lot of people kind of saying like, oh, I don't like the Charlotte Tilbury ones because they're cooler toned. This is a contour. This isn't a liquid bronzer. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for something more warm and sunny, this is not the product, because this is meant to add shadow to the face and things like that. So I'll go ahead and apply it. I like these because they are really, really blendable. I'm just going to do like 2 dots there. Sorry, I'm looking in my mirror over here. The nose, forehead, and then back to there. You could use these with a sponge. I personally am a brush girl these days, and I just kind of like to tap, tap, tap it in. They do blend really nicely. I would say if you leave it on a little too long, you might end up with like the dots being apparent even after you blend it. So it's definitely a product I think you should work quicker rather than slow, but they do blend really nicely, and for my skin tone, it does add a really nice kind of combination of a contour and a bronzer, because it does have a little bit of that more brown tone rather than just like a straight up cool gray or taupe, and I personally like that. But yeah, it's nothing crazy. I think this definitely was ahead of the time when it did come out, but now there's so many liquid contours and bronzers that I think you have really a choice. I think the theme with most of these products is that a lot of them are good. Is everything going to work for every single person? Absolutely not. Just because these products are good and I like them and a lot of other people like them doesn't mean this is the only stuff that you can use to do your makeup to get it to look exactly like other people's. It's just not true. The next thing I want to talk about is the Rare Beauty blushes. This is in the shade Bliss. These are really nice. I like the packaging. These are known to be really pigmented. I will say, if you have tried the brighter shades and you got a little turned off by how pigmented they are, definitely try the more nude, lighter shades, because with this one, I really can like kind of go in with it. Oh, that was too much. It gave me like a glob. But some people, like, they only put like one dot and it covers their entire face. The lighter shades, I think, are a little bit different than that. I can definitely get away with applying 2 to 3 bigger dots and not look like a clown. I do like a lot of blush though. This is a really pretty shade. I think the shade that's going viral right now is the shade Hope because of Alex Earl. If you can get your hands on that one, I think it's a little bit more pink. This one is, I think, pretty close to that. It just maybe has a little touch of a more peachy, which I think is maybe more flattering on a lot of people. I do think these are really nice. I find especially when I layer something on top of these do not move. Blush is always the first thing to go from my skin personally, and I think a lot of people share that. And I think these are really great. They last a really long time. I have 3 shades. I haven't begun to run out of them, and I think these are really nice. That's being said, they are super pigmented. I think Rare Beauty is one of those brands that it is higher end, but it does have a little bit better of a price point. But these are always sold out, so don't feel like you're missing out on a ton. I do think they're worth trying if you can get your hands on them, if you want to spend the money on something like that. But I definitely don't think it's something that you need to feel like you'll never have beautiful blush. Like I said, I think all these things can be duped, they can be replaced, they could be left, done without. But this is one of those products that I really would recommend because I am really a fan of these, and I think they last a really long time, which is something you want when you're buying something at a higher price point. You definitely want something that's going to last you a little bit longer, so would recommend those. I'm going to go in with another of the Charlotte Tilbury contour ones. This is in the shade Pillow Talk. It's like the highlighty one. I really like this. I wore this highlighter on my wedding day. The Pillow Talk shade I think is pretty unique. It's just this really gorgeous rose gold shade that I think would look so good on a lot of people. It doesn't leave a cast, which a lot of rose gold shades typically would on my skin. So I think if you're in the market for a new liquid cream highlight, I think these are really nice. Like I said, I think these have a good staying power. And they definitely make me feel like very ethereal when I put them on. I feel like the glow, it doesn't accentuate too much texture, which is nice for a highlighter. And I just always really feel pretty when I apply this. So I do really think if you're gonna try any of them, I would try the highlight ones rather than the contour. There also is like the Pinkgasm, the blush one. I like that too, but it is more of a highlight. It's not super, super, super pigmented to use as just your blush alone. If you are fair, I think it would work that way. But I would try the highlighter. If you're gonna try any of the contour ones from Charlotte Tilbury, try this one. The other shade Spotlight is really nice as well, but I think Pillow Talk, it's a little bit of a different shade that we haven't really been seeing a ton of. It's not super repetitive, and I think it's one of my favorite highlighters, so I would definitely say that was worth the money. Next, we're going to set everything, and I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Setting Powder. This is the loose setting powder in the light pink shade. This pink shade is not going to work on everyone. Definitely there is a ton of shades in the Huda Beauty, and I love the more neutral shades, but I think this pink shade, if you have been eyeing it, if you think this will work for you, I definitely think you should get it. The powders themselves are worth it. So if you have deeper skin than me and no way this light pale pink is gonna work for you, definitely try whatever shade works for you, because the formula of these, and I say this as someone who has dry skin, I used to be terrified of powder. If you go back and watch my old videos, I wouldn't set my face at all, and I finally tried this because it was going viral and the pink powder was kind of a trend. I tried this, and it is such a finely milled powder that really, it's almost undetectable on the skin. It does give you that snatched, blurred, set effect, but it doesn't completely dry my skin out. It doesn't make you look chalky. It doesn't accentuate any dryness. This is really great, and I will say, I think the little triangle powder puffs have been going pretty viral. A lot of people have been saying that it's the same if you apply it with a brush or this. For me, I don't find that true. I find that the powder puff truly does apply it in the way where it seems the most seamless, blurred, and also doesn't accentuate any dryness, and really lets the powder absorb into the skin and really set everything you want. So I would recommend the powder puffs. These are something you could get for dollars on Amazon, and I think they're worth it. This powder is definitely very blurring. I saw a video the other day of someone saying oh, these powders aren't actually blurring, it's just the lights and the camera that these people are using. Well, I don't think that's true. I find this incredibly blurring. All the products I talked about on my channel are products that I've already tried mostly. And I used this on my wedding day. I think I look very blurred and everything, and maybe the lights in the camera do, you know, add that up a little bit. But looking in the mirror, my under eye, my pore, like larger pore area, definitely looked smoother and more blurred just from me in the camera in this natural light. So I would give the powder puffs a try. I don't know if it's probably a combination of the powder puff and the type of powder you're using, but definitely if you haven't tried the Huda Beauty powder, I do think there's something special and there's something worth splurging on. Alright, let's finish up the base. I'm going to go ahead and set my blush with a product that is probably pretty overhyped in my opinion. This is the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow blush. It looks pretty neon pink in the pan. It does not apply that way. This is a very pretty blush. I like it a lot. I don't think you need to go spend $50 on a baby doll pink blush when there's so many out there. I liked the Tarte Doll Face. Jaclyn Cosmetics has some really nice baby doll pinks. It is really nice and it looks very good. And it does have just like kind of a luminosity effect without having any shimmer or sparkle in it. But I definitely think this is one of those products that it just looks pretty and it's aesthetically pleasing, and a lot of people have it and they recommend it. I think any blush of this shade is pretty much going to give you the same effect. So this would be something that I like. It's fun to have and I definitely use it, and who knows, maybe I would repurchase it, I guess, if I ever ran out of it. But I think you're good with whatever blush you choose. Like I said, the Rare Beauty blushes I definitely think are something more inspired and different that I would feel like maybe you should buy instead of this. Like I said, this is nice, it's fun to have, it's fun to look at, not necessary. I'm going to talk about a newer highlighter. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter in the shade Pillow Talk. Again, a lot of Charlotte Tilbury in this video. I think Charlotte Tilbury, just every couple of months, some of their products go pretty viral. They do have a really nice like glam aesthetic that I feel like makes a lot of women feel beautiful, and it makes it feel like luxurious and everything like that. I love Charlotte Tilbury as an artist and I love a lot of her products. You'll see that in my videos. I just wanted to say that in case you're like, why is it only Charlotte Tilbury products? Well, if you go look at like viral products, a lot of these products are hers. I know the Rare Beauty highlighters, the new powder ones, are going pretty viral as well. I did not purchase those. They look a little chunky for my liking on other people. So I'm going to take this. Again, this is the shade Pillow Talk, so it's the same shade theoretically as the liquid highlight I put on. I do really like these. I feel like they're a little bit smoother than what I've been seeing of the Rare Beauty. They're definitely on the like, you know, any highlight's gonna accentuate pores or texture, but I think these are pretty good. They have a little bit of a blurring effect in them, so I think that helps a lot. I really like how these look. If you're in the market for a new highlighter, there's so many highlighters on the market. That's the thing about like saying like, oh, you need this one exactly. If you like the shades that they have, and I think they're really good. I think they're a nice formula. They have a nice shine without having too much of a cast, and they're really easy to blend out. They don't look chunky on the stand, which I think is everything that I usually look for in a highlighter. So I think those are nice. Again, though, you could probably find something a little better price point. But yeah, I think they're really great. I'm going to throw something on my lips before I move on to my eyes just to hydrate them. This is something I saw going viral a couple months ago. This is the Makeup by Mario Plumping Lip Serums. This is in the shade Pink Glow. This was a product that I was a little disappointed in. If you don't look at the product shots for this product, I'm going to say as a whole, the brand. Makeup by Mario, I think their product shots and their swatches and their lip swatches that they post on Sephora or on their website are very misleading. I've gotten several lip products. I think there was like lip suedes that they came out with a couple months ago or maybe last year. I got the pink shade that looked like a pink nude, and it wasn't even just brown on my lips because of my complexion or anything like that. I swatched it and it was very visibly orange brown. I think the product swatches and lip swatches are very misleading. For these products specifically, they look like they have a lot more pigment in them than they actually do. They are pretty, I mean, they're pretty colorless in my opinion. This is the only one I've tried, but I got this shade in specific because it looked like a very milky, hydrating pink that had a little bit more tint to like the more luminous ones. And overall, I just think the swatches on Makeup by Mario's website and Sephora are very misleading. So I would proceed with caution. I think there's a lot of good products from the brand. This is nice. It's like a minty, tingly lip balm, but I mean, it's just a lip balm at the end of the day. I don't think it's going to be adding any kind of like extra step. I think you'd probably be better off with maybe more of a tinted lip oil or a lip gloss if you want more of a color. If you just want kind of an overpriced minty lip balm, like lip, are they supposed to be plumping? They're not very plumping, I'll say that. They do have like that tingly feeling, but just a slight. It's definitely not as a tingling as a actual lip plumper in my opinion. I don't know, I think you'd have to have pretty pigmented lips for these to look like they do anything, and again, that would just be your own lip pigmentation, not the actual product. So I would say pass on this. If you have been looking, they're out of stock a lot. If you have been waiting to get one, I would say there's probably something else out there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. I do have them tinted right now, so I'm not going to add any color. Something I do see going viral is the Refi, what is this actually called? The brow gel. I do think this is nice. It's kind of like a white, and then it's really nice for like the feathered brow look. So I'll just go ahead and apply. Kind of like to like work that product in there first, and then brush them however you want them facing. And then I think the idea is that you take the little brush afterwards and kind of slick them down. I think if you are into a more feathered brow, I think this product is worth trying. I really like the Got To Be glue. It's pretty similar in that it does have a little bit of like a white tint like this one, and it'll probably hold your brows a little bit better, but I do like this because it feels a little nicer on the brow, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel as like you have glue on your eyebrows, but this does slick them down pretty good. Like I said though, if you're wanting more of a super like you don't want your eyebrows to move the slightest, the Got To Be glue is pretty similar to this, but I do like the packaging. I do like that it's in a spoolie form and that it has like that little brush attachment so you can really smooth them down. Give you kind of a look. I think they look really nice, and that's all I have in my brows right now, and I think that's nice. I like it. For eyeshadow, I have two things that I want to talk about. The first, this is really dirty, but the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. It's just a palette with some neutral shades, and they're all matte. They also have a metallic version, but I see a lot of people talking about this one, so I just wanted to give my opinion and show you guys. I do really like this palette. I think if you want a palette that is just dedicated to these shades, I think if these shades are what you use the most often, if you're creating a lot of looks with, you know, you need a lot of depth of just neutral browns, I do think you would like this. I really like it for that reason. I like not having to scroll through all my palettes basically and find one that has all the transition shades or all the neutral shades. I like this for an easy everyday. This stays in my everyday makeup drawer just because it's so easy. I like just putting a little bit of bronzer in my crease, so I think this palette is basically just, you know, shades of brown developing, so it's basically the same as finding a really good bronzer that you like. It has that nice cream, and it also has the black, which I feel like is very effective. Usually, I am pretty low-key with my makeup on an everyday basis, so something like this where I can just dip into a couple shades, do them on the lid, and add a little sparkle at the end is perfect for me. I think they blend well. I think they're really nice, so if this is something you're interested in, I definitely think you would like it, and I think you should go ahead and purchase it. That being said, if you have so many palettes and you are a person who's using all of your palettes every day, you have these shades. I mean, I know I do. I have these shades in 100 different palettes, but it's something nice about having something that's compact. You can take it on the go. It has the nice mirror, which is really good for traveling, and it just has all of your little basic shades in one. So I really liked this. I'm just gonna take, I think, these two shades, and I'm just gonna apply those in my crease. I didn't put a primer down, but usually I can't be bothered. But yeah, these blend really nicely. They have nice colors in them, especially if you have blue eyes. I think a lot of these bronze shades are really flattering, but I think this would work for a lot of different people. And I definitely see, like, I feel like as a working makeup artist, this would be pretty popular just because it's all those basic shades in one. You don't have to be, you know, looking through every palette trying to find that perfect transition and then that perfect step above that. This just kind of has everything for you, and I feel like it blends really nicely. And yeah, I always did a nice look when I used these. I think they pack a lot of punch, and there's really not anything to complain about. So I think these are pretty viral for a reason, just because it's more of a convenient palette, I would say. Especially if you're someone like me who has so many palettes where, I mean, this is sad, but where you feel like sometimes you're overwhelmed by how many you have that you don't end up using them. Definitely think this kind of solves that issue. And if you're looking to be a little bit more minimal, I think something like this would be nice. Alright, for mascara, I do have like lash extensions that I do myself, but I want to talk about this. This is the Essence Lash Princess. I have spoken about this on my channel already. This is a product that every couple of months I think blows up and people are like, this is a dupe for so-and-so mascara or this mascara. This is a truly incredible mascara. It is $4. It's very accessible. It's super black, super voluminous, adds some length. I just think it's a really, really nice formula. It's not waterproof or anything like that. So if you like more of a waterproof, transfer proof, things like that. That being said, it doesn't like flake or anything on me, and I've definitely had higher end mascaras perform worse than this. This is a really good mascara in my opinion. I think this is definitely worth it. It's $4, so even if you don't like it, if it's not your type, because I know my mascara is kind of personal sometimes, it's $4, so it's not something that's gonna break the bank and you're gonna regret terribly buying it. Definitely would recommend this, especially if you're more of a drugstore mascara girly. If you haven't tried this one, it's definitely worth it. Alright, what else? Alright, lips. I'm gonna kind of dab off that plumping lip serum. I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk liner. The Pillow Talk shade of lipstick, it's what started it all. The liner, the lipstick, everything. And I think a lot of people hear that this is like a universal shade, but I don't think there's really anything, I don't think there's any such thing as a universal shade. It's gonna pick up more pink on some people, more brown on others. I would say if more medium to deep, it's gonna definitely be more of a pink, and more lighter, it's gonna be more of like a nude brown pink, like beigey. So I'm gonna apply it. I do think the Charlotte Tilbury liners are really good. They're not the most transfer and long wearing liners that I've had, I will say that. If you're wanting something really long wearing, I would try the Refi lip liners. I think they're called the Lip Sculpts. But I do like all the shades that the Charlotte Tilbury one comes in. It's really up to preference. I think my favorite lip liners are MAC lip liners. They're a little bit drier, and I feel like they have a little bit more, they grasp on. These are a little creamier, which is nice. It's nice for applying and definitely for filling in the lip, but I think sometimes the creamier, the more they're likely to rub off when you're drinking, eating, you know, just going about your everyday. So I'm gonna apply this really quick. There's like no tug with these lip liners. Like I said, they're really creamy. Alright, so that is that liner applied all over the lip. Just wanted to show you all over just to get an idea. Let me go ahead and take my little clippies out. Alright, so that is the lip. Like I said, it's a really pretty kind of neutral, more brown pink, but it is a really nice shade. I don't know if it's going to work on everyone. Like I said, I don't really know if like universal products are really that. I don't know if there's any such thing as universal colors that will work for every skin tone, you know, every complexion. I do think it's really nice. I think the Pillow Talk shade is really popular for a reason. I think this could work on a lot of skin tones, but obviously you find what you like. I'm just going to top it off just because this is a little one-dimensional. I'm going to put a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury KKW. This is a lipstick that I really think is worth trying. I really like Charlotte Tilbury's lipsticks. I probably like the lipsticks a little better than the liners, I would say, but they're really nice and they have a lot of different colors. But yeah, that's the whole look of viral makeup products. Like I said, a lot of these things, they can be duped, they can be replaced. Some of these things I like, and even though I liked them and loved them, I can recognize that there's other things. But overall, they make a pretty look. They work really well. But don't feel like if you don't like these products that everyone's lying about liking them, or vice versa. If you like it and everyone says they don't like it, I don't know. I think a lot of people, if something doesn't work for them, they're like, oh, everyone I've seen that liked this is lying. that's not true. But I do think sometimes we get carried away in like social media culture and influencer culture where we think that everything that, you know, the it person of the moment is wearing is just like the best of the best. Makeup comes and goes. There will be new innovative things next week that will be, you know, so-called better than all of this. So just take everything that, you know, people say they like with a grain of salt. You can try them, you could love them, you could hate them. That's just how it works. But a lot of these products I do really like, and hopefully I gave you a good idea of some of the things that I feel like are maybe not as worth it as the others, and hopefully this was enjoyable to some point. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!